the collection is complete. Hey guys, so as most of you know, I did qualify for the Continental Championship for Buddyfight, and the German qualifier I took second, and I took it with my Kaizerion deck, which I'll be doing a quick deck profile on right now. So I'll just get right into it. I'll go over the main deck, then I'll go over the sideboard. So Flag and Buddy. I play Tiger Thrust as a Buddy because I don't have another 5th Muck Braver or a Kaizerion, and because this deck is gonna die in a week, well, it's basically gonna die as soon as HP Tier 3 is out. I don't really want to invest any more in it. So I mean, I did Buddy Call sometimes, but yeah, sure, I do lose the 1 life from not being able to Buddy Call every game, but having Tiger Thrust as a Buddy is alright. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's better to have a full deck rather than worry about my Buddy. So for Kaizerion, pretty standard. For those of you that don't know what he does, his call cost is to gauge, and same goes for riding him. And he has Soul Guard, and basically when you ride him, you can take a Brave Machine from your drop zone, put it into his soul, and then if you have 3 more Brave Machines, if you have 3 more cards in his soul, then he gets an extra crit, so he turns into an 8/4/5, just like that. So on his own, he doesn't look that spectacular, because when he was first revealed, everybody was kind of just underestimating him. But I'll go over why he's so good in a second. So my backup ride, I guess, at least one of them, is Zeldline. So it's a 2 gauge to ride and free to call. And it's a 6/3/6, size 3, so when you have Kaizerion in your ride and then you just call this for free, it's pretty good, so I quite like that. Then as for size 1s, we're gonna get into the pieces of Kaizerion. So first off, I have Tiger Thrust. So basically when he's in the soul of a card that you're ride into, he gives the card Penetrate. So now Kaizerion is gonna be an 8/3/5 with Penetrate, which is already pretty awesome. And then you can also put Tiger Thrust from your hand or your field into the soul, so you don't have to call it to put in the soul, so it doesn't get killed by hidden crossbow or stuff like that. So this is one of the main pieces. This is really good against anything that walls, because you're just going to start penetrating them for days, and it's generally just a good card. So I'll keep 1 Kaizerion here, and yeah, there's Tiger Thrust. Now the other piece is Slush Shark. I played 2 in the main deck. Basically it has the same skill as Tiger Thrust, so you can put it into the soul of a card you're ride into from hand or field, and then when it's in the soul, it gives your ride a +1 attack and +1 defense. So now Kaizerion with 1 soul of Slush Shark is going to be a 9/3/6. So that's Slush Shark. I'll keep this Kaizerion here. And the final piece that I ran 3 times is Subbird. This is probably the best one because it has the same thing you can put in the soul, and then when you're at 6 life or less, you can pay 1 gauge, and then your ride gets double attack. So basically Kaizerion, when you have all 3 of them in the soul, he turns into a 9/4/6 Penetrate with double attack. And the thing is, when your opponent uses a card to destroy your item, you just destroy one of the souls instead. So they have to get rid of all the soul if they want to get rid of Kaizerion. But there was one game that I had where I rode Kaizerion, had no Brave Machines in the drop zone, so I kind of had a naked Kaizerion, then he got popped and then I lost. So it's stuff like that. But in total I play 9 pieces that can go into the soul of Kaizerion. I think it's enough, and I have 1 more in the side, so that's the main monster focus. Now for backups, I played 2 X-Blazer. He's another one of my backup rides, but he's also good on his own. Call cost is pay 1 gauge, and basically when he deals damage, you can pay 1 life to deal 2 more, so when he does deal damage, he deals 4 basically. And he's a 6/2/3, so he does get killed by hidden crossbows, but other than that, he's a really good size 2. If I had more, I would play more, but he's expensive and I don't feel like investing in a deck that's gonna die soon. I play 1 Count Dawn because it's a really good card. Basically at the start of your turn, you can pay 1 life to call him from your drop zone. This is really good because sometimes your opponent will stall you at 7, so you cannot use Subbird or other cards that need 6 life or less. You're like, okay, I'll pay 1 life and call this, and then I'll suddenly be able to use all my abilities that I can use once I'm at 6 life or less, so that's pretty good. Another of the backup monsters is Muck Braver. He's basically a nullifier, but not a spell, so he doesn't get spell nulled and shit. Basically, when your opponent attacks, you can pay 1 gauge and call him in the center with a counter. And then, well, if he lives through it, he has move as well, but often you just call him and he dies. But sometimes you can your opponent will hit you with a weak attack or something, and then you just call this, he lives, and then you can take another attack. So it's pretty good. I quite like Muck Braver. He's one of the nice little, because you only have 1 attack nullifier in the deck, so Muck Braver is really good. For impacts, I played 2 Brave Energy Full Drive. Basically, you can only cast it if you're a ride and your opponent is at 5 life or less, and then you pay 2 gauge and deal 2 damage, and then after that damage is dealt, you deal another damage for each card in your ride's soul. So if your Kaizerion has like 3 soul, you deal another 3, so for 2 gauge you can deal like 5 or even more. But this has a ruling with shit like stuff like Glory Seeker, where like let's say your opponent's at 2 life, and you do the impact. So first you would do the 2 damage that it does on its own, and pop the Glory Seeker. Then let's say the Glory Seeker goes off, they go back to 3 life, and then you have 3 soul, and then you deal the other 3. So it doesn't all go in at once, that's sort of like a little ruling around it, so it's a really good impact. Honestly, I would play more if I had space, so that's why I have 1 on the side. Best card in the deck, Cold Super Machine. Pay 1 gauge to search for any Brave Machine. This is the life-saving card, this is the reason why the deck is so good in my opinion, and it's no wonder why this card is 25 bucks a piece. Basically, you're missing Kaizerion, search it. You're missing a good piece like Tiger Thrust or Suburb, search it. Like, anything you're missing, you just search for it. You need Hyper Energy, you search it. Like, Cold Super Machine is one of the best spells in the game in my opinion. Body of Steel, I played 4 times. This card killed me more often than it saved me, because my opponent I would be at 5 defense, and my opponent would hit me for like 12, and I'm like, well fuck, I can't do anything with this. So often it would actually spell death for me more than it would help, but that's just my opponent playing smart. I mean, if they didn't know what this card is, I'm pretty sure they would be more reckless, but Body of Steel is still pretty good because it's a free +5 defense and counterattack, so I kinda like that. I main 2 spell nulls. I don't feel the need for more. They only won me like 1 game, but I feel that they should still be mains just because of that. The thing is, Hero World is one of the few decks that has like just a basic spell null without any other condition, so it's pretty good. I like having it in there. 3 Hyper Energy, another one of the best spells in the game. Cast it, gain 4 gauge. It's searchable as well, so you can search it with Cold Super Machine. Just getting a little bit organized. So yeah, Hyper Energy is really good. And on top of that, I play 2 Brave Fort. It's a nice card that I kind of underestimated at first. Basically, when your Brave Machine enters the field or rides, you gain 1 gauge, but that's only once per turn. And then basically when you would die, when you would reach 0 life, you can destroy this and a card you ride into to go back to 1 life. So it's good because you can just destroy one of the souls of your Kaizerion instead of destroying Kaizerion himself. So it's really good. This has won me a couple of games where I just hung on with like 1 life, so it's pretty good. Leave the Rest. This is another really good card that Hero World has. Basically, it's like basically when you ride, you can pay 1 life and destroy a card you ride into, and because of the Soul Guard ruling, you can just destroy one of your souls, and then you destroy any card on the field, and it has counter as well. So like your opponent nulls an attack, you can do this. You can destroy anything with this. It's a super good card. It's by far one of the best spells that the deck has, so I decided to try out 2 I Cannot Afford to Lose. I ended up siding it out most of the time, but it's pretty good because it's basically like an armor use, but restricted to 6 life or less. But it is pretty good. It helped me get back my pieces sometimes, or X-Blazers, or just any little monster that I might need, but I mostly sided it out when I needed to side, so it wasn't as useful as I was hoping it would be. 2, It's About Time I Got Serious. 6 life or less, pay 1 gauge to draw 2. Pretty useful. Often saved my ass rather than killed it. So it's pretty useful in Brave Machines, so I would definitely play at least 2. And then the final spell is the basic attack null. So when you're attacked and you have no monster in the center, you can nullify the attack. So that is the main deck. And now to get into the side. So I play 1 of the Impact, 1/Shark, because sometimes I might need to really like get up my defense so the opponent can't just like spam me with 5k attacks and I cry. 1 more Leave the Rest. I did side this in a few times. Another spell now, because in case I need a 3rd one. 3 Long Range Cannon. I think 2 is also enough, but 3 is really good against anything like Yamigero or anything more like size 3 enemies, because like they just have this huge tank in the center, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna cast this, then subvert and like double attack, so like 6 to 8 damage when they have a monster in the center is pretty damn good. So this is probably one of the MVP cards of my side. And then I have 3 Momentary Flash for any of those annoying things like weapon-based decks that I need to quickly get rid of, or I was prepped for anything Legend World like Stars or something. So this is also a pretty good card. So that's my deck, that's my sideboard. If you want to know coverage on how I did, you can watch the coverage video. I talk about after every little round, and I tell you how I did. But generally, I only lost to Armor Knights, which is funny because it's kind of my main deck. Like, I took Brave Machines because I'm a DP main and I love robots, but in general, the deck is a lot more boring to play than you would expect. It's actually really monotone and doesn't really do much. Like, it's not the most interesting thing. I think Dungeon or Danger are a lot more interesting to play. But I played it because I love robots, wanted to top with them at least once before they get killed. So I am happy that I did take this deck. Second is pretty good, honestly. I'm happy with how I placed. Like, my top cut was pretty good for me because top 8 I fought against 100 demons, and then long range cannon just kind of saves me. And then in top 4 I played against my own size 3 enemy deck, so again long range cannon just kind of like, so that was nice. And then if you've seen the finals, I misplayed really bad. Like, I could have Count Dawn and won game 2. Game 1 I just lost because, yeah, but game 2 I misplayed a lot, and there were like two different plays that I could have lived through. But it was, I mean, I don't mind how I placed. I think I still did pretty good. And now I'm just kind of preparing for Continental. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know some people have been asking for Buddyfight videos, so I hope anybody that is asking is pleased now. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.